All right, welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. This time, we're taking a look at Michel Serres.
Fascinating thinker.
He really is. French philosopher, spent time teaching at the Sorbonne and Stanford.
Even became a member of the French Academy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we know he's a big deal, but what we're diving into today is an excerpt from his work, something that really gets you thinking about how we, well, exchange things in the world.
About the different kinds of exchanges we make, yeah.
Right. Material goods versus the sharing of knowledge.
And how those two things aren't quite the same.
So to get us started, Serres presents these two scenarios. First one, very simple. You've got a loaf of bread, I've got some money, we swap.
Classic transaction.
Seems fair, right?
Yeah.
Like, no one's getting cheated, equal exchange. What are your initial thoughts on that?
Well, on the surface, absolutely. But the thing is, the scope of that exchange, it's limited. You're just shifting material things around. It's what Serres calls a zero-sum game. Meaning, someone gains, and inevitably someone loses. The resources are just changing hands. The overall pool, so to speak, doesn't grow.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So then Serres brings up this second scenario. Let's imagine you're fluent in Python.
A very useful skill these days.
Absolutely. And let's say I want to learn. So you take some time, walk me through the basics, share your knowledge. What happens then?
Well, in that case, we both come out ahead.
Exactly. And that's the key difference he's highlighting, right? Because unlike that loaf of bread, which is, well, consumed, knowledge isn't depleted by sharing.
In fact, it can even grow through that process.
Right. You, the teacher, maybe you refine your understanding by explaining it. Me, the student, I gain a new skill.
Everyone wins. It's a win-win. Serres even links this to the idea of the parasite.
Parasite. Now, that sounds a little negative.
It does, doesn't it? But he's using it in a very specific way. It's thought-provoking. Serres argues that knowledge sharing can be parasitic, but in a beneficial sense.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Go on.
So the parasite, in this case, let's say the student, they benefit from the host, the teacher, right? But the host isn't harmed.
And could even gain something, too.
Exactly. Maybe a clearer understanding, new perspectives, even just the satisfaction of helping someone learn and grow.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like when you explain a complex idea to a colleague, and suddenly, by talking it through, you understand it even better yourself.
Absolutely. I've had that happen many times, especially teaching. I recall working with a student once who was really struggling with a particular philosophical concept.
Oh, I can imagine those can be tough.
They can be very abstract. But as I tried to break it down for them, using different analogies and examples, I found myself making connections I hadn't considered before. It deepened my own understanding significantly.
So it's really this back and forth that enriches the whole process.
Precisely. Serres argues this kind of positive parasitism is essential for cultural progress, because material goods, those are finite.
They get used up.
Right. But culture, knowledge, ideas, these things are boundless. And sharing them doesn't diminish their value, it multiplies their impact.
It's like the more you share, the more there is to go around.
Exactly. I mean, think about it. All knowledge is built on what came before it. Even the most seemingly original ideas are often syntheses or reinterpretations of existing concepts.
It's all connected.
Right. This constant exchange, this parasitic interplay, it's how we as a society learn and grow.
It really does make you rethink those traditional ideas of value and exchange, doesn't it?
It does. Serres challenges us to consider what knowledge or skill could WE share today that might spark that kind of growth for someone else.
It could be a technical skill or historical knowledge or even just a great recipe.
Exactly, because every act of sharing contributes to this vast web of knowledge and culture.
Which ultimately benefits all of us.
Precisely.
A powerful thought to end on. So as you go about your day, think about what you can bring to that web. What knowledge, what passion can you share to create a little more of that positive sum growth in the world? Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.